If you're gay, then you're gay. Don't pretend that you're straight. You could be who you are any day of the week.
The book about fighting through the maze for the world is.
I loved you with all the summer power. I was used and abused till I was sweet and sour. I kissed you and gave you all my sugar. You knew that I'd be useless if I let you know what you would be. I thought it would be okay and we shared everything, no way. And I told you I was such a sad case. You said you could save me, I'm doing the saving. You just think it's superhero when you woke up a villain. Killing, I don't know what happened. Oh no, what happened? You got me fighting like Wonder Woman, but I don't wanna fight, I don't wear no tie, I can fly, I'm the superhero. I don't wanna fight, I don't wear no tie, I can fly, I'm the superhero. Don't know what happened, I keep trying to wrap my head around it. Brain so can't let nobody see how I'm acting. You hurt me, I know not physically. Ain't got no bones and bruises to show people what you're doing to me. I thought it would be okay, but you see, I heard everything you said, and I knew that you turned out to be a sad case. You said you could save me, I'm doing the saving. I don't wanna fight, I don't wear no tie, and I can fly, I'm the superhero. I don't wanna fight, I don't wear no tie, and I can fly, I'm the superhero. You got me, using all those tricks, hitting with a roundhouse kick to the tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4, hung high, TKO, type 1, you know. When you see that hand go chop, everything stops to those so hot, like steam from a coffee pot. Rush hour, no traffic, no jelly, just Jackie. You acting like you stay behind, go re-up on your classes. You won't fake, I wanna be Superman. You clocking back these glasses, man. I hit you with a judo kick so fast, you look back like what happened. I don't wanna fight, I don't wear no tie, and I can fly, I'm the superhero. I don't wanna fight, I don't wear no tie, and I can fly, I'm the superhero. Oh no.
Hey, what's up you guys, Sonic5455 here, welcome back to GSA Forever. If you guys remember last week, Monday, it was the first of the new year. So, enough about that. Last time we did this, we did Chapter 6 and Chapter 7, I never told her in pictures, and we finally found, and, Carly, Jay's sister, found out, and then apparently Jay had to tell the aunt, because the aunt apparently was listening in as this was happening. So, this is the last part of Chapter 6, and I don't need to read Chapter 7 because Chapter 7 was just pictures, and I don't need to read the last part. So we're doing Chapter 8 today. I love you too. So, I guess I don't blame you for leaving you in there. I nodded towards the door, and I gasped when I felt my feet beginning to sweep up from under me. Drake laughed as I protested. He carried me into the room and sat me down on the bed. I settled naturally in his lap. He smiled and turned my face towards his, holding my chin. I wasn't finished with you, he smiled hugely, and I blushed, giggling. I covered my mouth to hide it, but then he giggled too, so I didn't mind so much. I felt his arm wrap around my waist as soon as my lips were melting into his. Chapter 8. I love you too. Jay's point of view. Jay, you're too healthy, Carly said, leaning over to grind more salt into the bowl of my popcorn. I sighed. I don't think I can be too healthy, she grinned and rolled her eyes. I guess we both had a habit for doing that. She leaned back on the couch next to me as I started flipping through channels. I watched in silence as she projected about 100 shows and movies playing. Then she broke the silence. Where's Drake? At his dad's again? She continued staring at the television. But I couldn't hear the curiosity of her voice. Yeah, I nodded. When is he getting back? Maybe we should wait to watch something with him, she smiled. Trust me, I already... Trust me, I already thought through that. He said he'd be back kinda late though. I really did wish he was here. I missed him whenever he's gone. He's gone over to his dad's a few times after he got kicked out. He said he didn't really want to leave on a bad note. It took a week or two of healing the pain his dad caused him, but he decided he should try to fix whatever he can. I don't blame him. His family life isn't the best right now. And I'm not extremely clingy or anything. Yeah, you are. But when you love someone so much, they're your best friend, and you don't feel complete unless they're with you. Okie dokie, I'm guessing that they're getting along. I shrugged. You don't know, she asked. I mean, he's told me things are better, I nodded. He just doesn't talk about it much. He doesn't usually just bring it up, at least. He really doesn't. He's not big on talking about his problems, but he's been getting better. He's probably trying to work things out. I give him space, and don't worry, she smiled. Thanks. And I smiled too. My sister always had good advice to share, even if it was bad advice at the least. She cared enough to give me some. Suddenly, Carly's jaw dropped. Jay! I raised an eyebrow. Yeah? I smiled. The ring is on. We're watching it, she grinned. Really? A horror movie over a chick flick? Yep, my sister loves horror movies. I don't know why. There are plenty of exciting movies that aren't scary. I rolled my eyes and smiled. Shut up, Jay. It's not that bad, she grinned. No, it's fine. Whatever you want is fine. I smiled and I felt her look over at me. I think sometimes it's weirded her out when I'm really nice to her. She sometimes says I'm too nice. I didn't even know what it was possible to be too nice. But I really don't believe. But I don't really believe her. I could always be nicer. She deserves someone to be nice to her. Anyway, everyone does. It wasn't that The Ring was a bad movie. Anyway, it's just somewhat kind of scared the hell out of me. I guess I'll be closing my eyes for the next 90-ish minutes. You're watching it this time. All the way through. No hiding or closing your eyes, she grinned. Doesn't matter what she says, though. Because I knew she'd be too into the movie to watch me the whole time. She stopped paying attention to if I was watching about 20 minutes in. Oddly enough, 20 minutes in, and it was about when I heard the door open. I opened my mouth to say something, but Carly paused the movie and spoke first. Drake? There was no response, so she turned the movie back on. Weird. Drake always made his appearance obvious. I thought about going upstairs to see him, but I decided to wait a few minutes. Give him space, like Carly said. I'm gonna go see if he wants to watch with us, okay? I said. She nodded, intently and captivated by the movie. I got up and walked down the hallway. My eyes fell on Drake, who was shakily hanging down the stairs with a bag over his right shoulder. Drake? His face was torn, but he had serious at the same time. He looked like he was about to pass out. He stood by the door, and I met his eyes. His were glossy. His beautiful eyes, as always. But there was something else. Sadness, confusion, pain. I couldn't quite understand why he looked at me. I'm sorry, I have to leave, he choked. What? Why? God, stop. You're freaking out and about it in your head and say it. Drake, what's going on? Are you, breaking up with me? Or I'm pretty sure I whispered the last part of the question. He shook his head. No. He bit his lip and stared at the ground. His eyebrows came together like that day in the dorm when he was trying not to cry. Then what? I started, but he cut me off. I'm sorry. He stepped closer. He held his face in his hands. I love you, okay? His eyes filled with water and some began to spill over. I opened my mouth to tell him I love him too, but he struggled to say the words and process what happened at the same time. I still hadn't figured out what was happening. After he pulled away from me, confused and hurt and anger for whatever was upsetting him washed over me. When I saw the door close behind him, it was like something hit my chest hard. I just stood there, not knowing what to do. I fought the burning in my eyes, but always I wasn't strong enough to fight it. So I hid my face in my hands and cried. Sad, I know. So let me know what you think happened. What do you guys think happened? I don't exactly know myself. But I'm pretty sure I'm actually going to read the next chapter so I can figure out exactly what happens. You know what? How about we just do chapter 9 today? Let's do that. Chapter 9. I can't sleep, but being awake is too painful. I lay on the side, shifting every few seconds. My bed was abnormally uncomfortable. I turned to the screen of my phone on the screen of my phone on for the 100th time in the past hour. It was 4:21 in the morning, and I still had no message or calls from Jake. You might be thinking I had something better to do, perhaps sleeping, because that's what people do at night, but I couldn't help it. The longing for just one word from him, or maybe more than one word, but one word would be a great start. I wanted to know what was going on, and most importantly, if he's okay. I strained to keep my eyes open so I could check my phone once again. Nothing. It had been 6 days since he left, still nothing. I had also been falling behind on sleep more and more each night. I didn't like closing my eyes and drifting off, not knowing if he was okay or not. He left with no explanation. He was crying. He obviously isn't okay. Smart one. I let out a long sigh. My voice in my head was right. I just wish I knew why he wasn't okay. I rolled onto my back and set my phone next to me. I rubbed my eyes, which doing so usually makes me feel more awake. But when I did it this time, it just burned them even more. I let out a heavy sigh and folded my arms over my chest. I began to wish I had suffered animal-like. Drake did, at least so I could hug something other than myself. As desperate as I was for someone to hold though, I don't think I could settle for anything but Drake in my arms at the moment. Just pretend for now. Good idea. My hands clutched the sleeves of my shirt, and I was pretending it was Drake's. I let my eyelids slowly fall over my eyes. I wish I could stare at him instead of the darkness. I'd rather stare at him than anything else. My breathing became slow and deep, and I was asleep almost instantly. Drake, you should really start packing. We're leaving in. I stopped when he stuck his tongue out at me to cut me off, and then smiled at me some childish sometime. Don't worry about it. I'll get it done, he smiled. Don't give me that look, he laughed. I know you will. We fell into a silence besides Drake humming, because there's hardly ever a complete silent moment, and I folded a couple more shirts. I glanced at Drake, instantly meeting his eyes. Were you staring at me? I asked nervously, looking down. Nope, I never stare at you. I mean, it's not like you're the cutest guy in the world or anything. He shrugged. Oh, and I definitely don't stare at you when you're asleep, because you're definitely not absolutely precious when you're asleep. He chuckled and looked down at the guitar in his lap. I felt my cheeks heat up. What the hell? That's creepy, I laughed. But, thanks, I smiled shyly and felt his eyes on me again, even when I looked away. I ran a hand through my hair and zipped up my bag. It's not creepy, I promise. It's adorable, and I'm definitely not the cutest guy in the world. You can stare at me however long you wanted. At least then I could stare at you too, I mumbled, ignoring the morning light coming through the window. I lifted my heavy eyelids and sat up slowly. It was just a dream, I told myself disappointedly. So you were talking to Drake, who isn't even here, and now yourself. At my thoughts. I liked my head better last night when it just shut up and showed me him. I wish I could have kept dreaming. It was a dream. I wish the dream was real. I drowsily scooped my phone off the bed. 6:42. What the hell? It jumped out of my hand when I nearly had a heart attack. I turned my head towards Carly, and Carly was leaning against the door. She usually giggles when she scares me, and everyone does. But her face was sad and worrisome. Jay, we need to talk. She made her way over to me and sat on the edge of my bed. I nodded slowly, saying up across my legs. You look terrible. You need to sleep more, she frowned at me. She wasn't disappointed, though she was sympathetic. I can't sleep. I said honestly. I just can't stop worrying. I know, but you gotta think positively. How am I supposed to think positively when my boyfriend and best friend left with no explanation in a state definitely not okay. How am I supposed to be positive when I don't know what's going on, where he is, who he's with? I can't do anything about it either. I can't hug him when he's upset, if he's even upset. Maybe he's been happy the past couple of days. He's Drake. He can take anything, right? But that night, he didn't look too happy. Jay, sweetie, it's gonna be okay, she said, rubbing my arm now. I felt her sightless before I realized I had started to cry. If Drake was here, he would have already got me to smile. My sister's hand slid down my arm, settling on top of my own. I promise, and we both take promises seriously. And I only make them when we know we can keep them, but I don't know how. You're probably thinking, how the hell would my sister know if he's going to be okay? She offered a soft smile and continued, I know he wouldn't leave you. Not forever. He loves you. In fact, he's absolutely crazy about you. He'll come around. She was being way too nice to me. I was finding it hard to believe that it was going to be okay. Maybe because it was so far away from okay right now. Get dressed. Carly suddenly hopped off my bed. What? I really don't want to know what she's thinking, even though I'm supposed to. I just asked. Get dressed, I'll be back in 10 minutes. She was smiling. We're going to find Drake and find out what the hell is going on. But I don't think that's what if we make a whole thing worse by introduce... I trailed off. I had bad feelings about this. I looked up for her response, but she had already left my room. Guess I should probably get dressed. Who feels bad for Jay? What you thinking is gonna happen? Who thinks Drake should come back? Why do you think he left in the first place? Drake's POV? Oh my god, so many questions. That's the end of this video. I hope you guys have a great day, and until next time, guys, okay? Just ask the GSA. Mwah.